Okay, welcome everyone. I think most of you we have met, at least we had 1 or 2 sessions together. My name is Mohamed Esfi. I had the pleasure and the honor to join this project with the Westerwelle to hopefully accelerate or bring your startup in a better path, in a higher path of development and growth. So I'm going to share with you from the different interactions we had. I noticed a couple of things that were common to all of you guys, independently from your business model. And then I had I stepped back and I thought, what is it that we can share together? At least I can share with you experiences that I had of things that worked, things that didn't work, especially that I have been in online business and e-commerce and digital entrepreneurship for more than 20 years. When I started, I was 17 years old. I'm now 46. So times go fast, but there are things that do not change. And today I'm going to try to share with you what doesn't change, what are the underlying rules, the underlying infrastructure of commerce and then digital commerce that you can leverage and that you can stably rely on. Because there are so many developments, especially with the AI tools coming in, and there are so many things that people say that we can do online. But I'd like to share with you these what I call the universal laws of added value, because at the end, we are all here to sell an added value. You cannot come and sell something that doesn't add value. That would be a scam. Yeah. So in terms of creating value, or when you look at added value from a human perspective, you know, it all comes down at the level of selling time. You know, time is the only commodity that we exchange between humans. And I'm going to try to explain that because I think it's important for you in your businesses, when you formalize your product, when you create your commercial offer. I think it would be interesting that you take the perspective that what you're selling is time. It's a journey in time and space, actually. And I'm going to explain you why that is what you are actually selling in reality. If we deep down and we syrup what you're selling, you're basically saving time, saving space. So this is what I call the law number 1, which is the time-space journey that you're offering to your client or your buyer. Let me give you some more explicit examples. So let's say I'm in New York City. So at the bottom left, that's the now and the here. Let's say I'm in New York City right now, sitting in a cafe or a restaurant, and I want to eat some very good Wagyu beef from Japan. Yeah? So that's the added value that I'm going to pay for. I'm going to give my money to get an added value in exchange. This is a commercial transaction. It's always you give something against money, or you give something against something, a value against a value. So here I want to eat a Wagyu, a sirloin steak, a very good quality sirloin steak. So if you look at it from like general perspective, what I figured out through different studies and even my own personal experience is that whatever you're selling, whatever type of product or service you're selling, usually you get the highest price for something that takes time to get or that is very far to get. So you're selling either space, which is a distance to that item in kilometers or in miles, or you're selling a time access to that commodity or that service. So here, for example, if you look at the bottom right, there is a little calf. So if I'm in New York, I could grow my own beef. I could hire a farm in Ohio, you know, grow my beef, but then I have to wait 36 months to reach maturity before I can eat my beef. So I will pay less money, maybe I will pay $20 a kilo, but I have to wait 36 months, 3 years. That's also the time that it takes for beef to mature in Japan, in Kobe, for the very famous Kobe beef. So if I want a Kobe beef from Kobe, that's 3 years before it reaches maturity, plus it's 10,000 miles away. It's on the other side of the planet. That's the most expensive beef I can buy when I'm in New York. So I just want to share these 2 tangents of measurement. The distance with time, that's why Kobe beef in New York would be the most expensive. So if I want Kobe beef, then somebody has to bring that Kobe beef from me to New York. Somebody has to crunch that space, that 10,000 miles, and bring it near me. And then somebody has to crunch that 3 years of waiting for the beef to grow. That's what I pay when I go to a restaurant and I pay $1,000 per kilo or $450 per pound. That's what you pay in a classic restaurant to get a nice Wagyu beef. So As you can see, I can also get a local steak, a local good beef, grass-fed sirloin from let's say upstate New York, just like 50 miles, 100 miles away. Then I will pay much less. Actually, I will pay 20 times less, $50 a kilo. I can also get the beef from further up north in the country, from the US, from Alaska, because you know they grow better, whatever. Then it will be more expensive. I could also buy imported beef from France. And here you see that there is a curve of space and time that comes together. The cheapest would be for you to do it yourself far away. The most expensive is for you to take what is the longest to create and is the furthest to bring back. There is also one more option actually, is that if you want to crunch the time and the space, you can also take a flight. That's what you can see in the slide on the top left. You can fly to Japan, you can fly to Kobe to eat 1 kilo or 2 pounds of beef. So you're compressing time and space by spending energy. It's an energy and a financial expenditure. And you go to the place where the Japanese beef comes from, and you eat up the time that it takes by flying there. And now you reach Kobe, and now you can eat the beef, but then it will cost you $2,000 a kilo, or about 900 pounds, $900 per pound. So that's also one way to look at it if you go and you travel. I don't know if it makes sense. I'll try to repeat it, but this is what I noticed when we are selling stuff. So Naufal, when you're selling your aluminum, it's because you go and fetch it from very far. It takes time. You bring it from the countryside, you bring it to the city, you clean it. It takes time of processing, it takes distances. So what you're selling is a distance and time. And distance is just time, because to parkour a distance, you need to put energy to catch up for the time. So at the end, this is what I want to share with you. A steak, the price value mechanism in the human mind is actually how much time it would have taken me to travel the distance and to do the work to reach that maturity of the product that you are offering me, you as a startup, you as a business owner. That's what I'm going to pay for as a human, as the ultimate exchange. So that's for the steak, but we can also look at it when you want to build your own house or buy your own house. So let's say I live in New York. I want to buy an apartment for my little family, an apartment of 4 bedrooms. I'm going to pay, I should not say the word because my name being Mohammed, I can't say that name, that explosion device anymore, but you will pay a big price for an apartment of 1,000 square feet in Manhattan. That will be probably around $1,700 per square feet. So that's like almost $2 million for a decent apartment. Now, if let's say I have a salary from Nairobi, I have a salary from Manhattan, but nobody says that I should buy my house in Nairobi or should buy my house where I work, because that's the highest cost of life. Usually we are in the capital cities or wherever business is. So maybe if I go to Sussex in New Jersey, just like 100 miles away from Manhattan, the price drops already by like 50%, 40%. So now I'm converting distance to save time. So I'm converting money, time and distance to save my money. I'm just transferring the value. I don't have the money, therefore I'm going to put more travel, more time, more distance. And then I go on, I say, hey, I can even go further. I can switch from a house to a container to save money. Then I reduce a little bit more. But then, you know, there comes also a moment where you say, hey, maybe I can continue working here and then I can work remotely. Why not? I live in Havana, in Cuba, not so far away, maybe 2-3 hours flight. I can get a super nice villa for like a third of the price or half of the price. And then I can also go and say, wait, I want to invest more time and more distance. I'm going to build the house myself. I'm going to buy land in Ohio and I'm going to spend 2 years to build it. And now I can bring down my cost to $450 per square feet. And then I can go further. If I don't build a conventional house, I build I don't know if you're familiar with the guys, but in the US it starts to be quite common. It's called earth ships. You use mud and recycled tires and recycled glass bottles to build a house. Now, this can be very interesting for you. You can supply them with your stuff. So then I use all these recycled materials and I build like in an ecosystem. I build an ecosystem actually that also grow fruits and so on. And then I reduce my construction costs and I go a little bit further upstream, upstate. And then also you can come and say, I don't really have that much money. I'm going to continue working in New York, but you know what, with my wife, we decided that maybe we want to relocate, and why not have a house in Indonesia, in Bogor. That's what you see at the very top. So if I go very far, if I go 10,000 miles away to Bogor, Indonesia, and then I wait 2 years, 3 years, I put money aside, I can build a very big traditional house. And you know, I converted money, and instead of putting my money, I'm putting distance. I go to where my good is, or my end value is. And also I put in time. So as you can see here again, we're playing with distance and time to change the value perception or the value of a thing, be it a service or a product. Let's do a third example, and then I'll relieve you from my weird theory. The same when you're building a service. So when you're proposing a service, it's the same. It takes time to get the skill to provide that service. So that's what we are selling. For example, if I want to translate something, if I want to go free and now, I can use at the bottom left, I can use Google Translate. It's free, it's available right now. It will translate for me English to Mongolian or Mongolian to English. That's completely possible. But if I want to make money out of translation, or if I want to hire somebody who is certified because I need to translate my wedding certificate, my birth certificate, I need an official translator, and I have to translate a physical document that is in New York and I need to present it to the court in New York. I may need a Mongolian English translator that is certified and that is here physically in New York. That's the guy that you see at the bottom right. He has graduated from the University of Mongolia and University of New York in translation, and he's certified. Therefore, he can ask for $500 per 1,000 words, because he's offering me that value of time and space, because he has been to Mongolia. That means he has like native level Mongolian. He has spent 3 years, 2 years in New York University and 1 year exchange program in Mongolia. You know, he has invested so much to get that skill and that certification. Therefore, I'm going to pay him or her that $500 per 1,000 words. But I'm also going to pay somebody else who had a little bit less time and space investment in his translation skills. Let's say a Mongolian native certified translator. He's in Ulaanbaatar, and I hire him over the internet, and then he stamps it, and maybe if it's accepted, I can get it for $300 per 1,000 words. Or if I'm in a rush and I just need the digital certification, then I can use the service of Rush Translate. So you see, this is how Rush Translate is positioning themselves in this time-space valuation. They say, we can give you a certified translation digitally signed in 24 hours for $25 for 250 words. That's $100 per 1,000 words. So when I pay Rush Translate, I'm paying them for that connection of time and space and quality. You also have, if you guys are familiar with machine translation post-editing. Are you familiar with this? Have you heard MTPE before? So please pay attention to MTPE, because it can happen in your field. Now that we have more and more machines, we have more and more AI, a lot of the human work is done by machines. So the translation sector had to adapt, otherwise they would have been killed by AI and automatic translation. So now you have new services where the people tell you, look, we are going to use AI, we are going to use machine translation, that's machine translation, but it's post-edited by a human. So you get the benefit of speed and initial crunching of the data by the AI and the machine. We are not lying about it, we all benefit from it, but you got also the human supercalc, you get the human superposition of the human skills, which is about editing, verifying. So this is what I sell you. It's much more competitive. It's cheaper than just human translation, but it's more expensive than just Google Translate. So now I have another offer that again is using time, space, and energy to compile one specific offer that will fit in a specific segment of the market. I hope you can see the point, because it's the same, for example, for Naufal or for you guys. If you use a robot, a physical robot in your industry to produce something, you can't say anymore handmade, but you can say it's machine-made and polished by humans. It's machine-made but configured by humans. You know, you can find a way where you can propose an offer that has one part that is made by machines and one part that is made by humans, and you still can claim the human aspects of it. And you can still claim and differentiate yourself from a business that is fully automated factory in China or in Japan or in America, that you can't compete with them in price and volume, but you can do post-machine editing, post-machine added value. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And here again, it's more about how can we think outside of the box about every service and every product that you guys have. Can you break the box where you are right now and say, what is the full spectrum of how my product could look like or how my service could look like? Did I miss something? Are people using my service in a different way? Are people consuming my product in a different way? Can I discover that and see if I can go and transform my product to that level or my service to that level and gain that added value so that I can get a better price? What I saw, guys, is that you all have a very nice value already. You already have something that works, you're selling it, you have first customers. So I'm just here to tell you, maybe there is a way you could go a mile further. Maybe you can save a week more, 10 minutes more to your clients. What is the time, what is the space you can add and monetize with your offer? And what is the form that your product could take that could fetch more value? So this is about law number 1, the time and space journey. And you see, it's really a journey, because if I wanted to do the certified translation myself, it's a journey. I would have to have gone to the university in New York in linguistics, and then I would have had to travel and spend time in Mongolia. So it's a journey. It's 3 years journey, 10,000 miles journey. That is what is that certified Mongolia American university specialist is going to sell you. It's the journey that he went through to build that skill. We will keep question and answers at the end. So for now, forgive me, but I'll give you the zipped format. Let's look at the law number 2, which is also very useful and almost applicable to any service and any product. So it works also for digital services. It works for services. It works very well for commodity. It works for manufactured goods. This is what I call, or what the logistic professionals call, the bulk and break. The bulk and break, I call it the blessing, because anyone can make money from bulk and break. You don't need much skills. You don't need much training. It's really about dealing with the quantities of one given item, service, or product, or commodity. Let me explain to you again through some hopefully practical examples. Let's say you're a producer in China and you're outside of Shenzhen. You're in the countryside and you produce whatever, a small little bear, a bear toy. So as you produce it from your factory in China, or your village in Nairobi, or your village in Rwanda, if you let a buyer come to you from America or from Europe, and they come and they tell you, look, Mohammed, we're going to buy from you at the door of your factory. Do not bother. We're going to buy from you X works value. X works, that means that we come and take it from your factory. You don't take any risk. You don't move your goods. You don't spend time. Just produce and we get it from you. So that means that the buyer is going to come to me at my production facility. So he's going to get a very good price. I'm going to give him that item for $1 a unit. You see there at the bottom, $1 per unit. But then I have a minimum order quantity, because how much money I'm going to make with $1 per unit? So I have to make an MOQ. MOQ is minimum order quantity of 10,000. I say, yes, you can get it at $1, but you have to buy 10,000 of it. This is the bulk and break. Depending on the minimum order quantity, you get a certain price. Because if I only have 10 cents income on the $1, selling one unit is meaningless. But if I sell 10,000 units, one container, even if I make 10 cents per piece, okay, at least I can make some money. I get my things to move. I'm not making much money though, as a manufacturer. And that's often what you guys are doing. I notice that many of you are in the very early phase of the chain of value. You're at the production level. You're producing that service. You're producing that commodity, or you're collecting it. You're at the very early stages of this. So if somebody buys from you at that moment, they're going to give you a very little price. But that's fine. So this is 4 months back in time. Yeah? 4 months ago, something was produced somewhere, 10,000 miles or 8,000 from New York. It's 8,000 miles away. These little teddy bears were produced 4 months ago. They were produced in quantity in the countryside of Shenzhen. Okay, that's one set of value. Now, as a producer, you bring your goods to the seaport of your country. So if you're in Kenya, you bring it to Mombasa port, yeah? If you're in Kigali, maybe you can also bring it to Mombasa port or to Dar es Salaam. You go to the next port or to the airport. Now, the buyer is going to tell you, yeah, I buy from you FOB. Are you guys if you're not familiar with FOB, some of you, I shared with you the Incoterms of trade, but it means free on board. It means that you, as a producer or as a seller, you're going to package your merchandise, you're going to bring it to the port of exit of your country. That means you're already now again spending time and distance. You're going from your village or your factory to the next port of embarkment, and you're dropping your stuff there, and now you can fetch a bit of a higher price. So now it's no more $1 per kilo, it's $2 per kilo. And also because now I'm selling a little bit higher, I can accept a lower minimum order quantity. I can sell 5,000 units. I have a bit more margin, that's acceptable. So my MOQ is 5,000 units, $2 per unit. FOB, business done. I just bring it to the port or the seaport, and my job is done. I got a bit better profit, yeah? So now we're leaving the country, or we're leaving the jurisdiction. Now my goods, they arrived in America, or they arrived in the country of my buyer. Now somebody is going to import it. So that somebody who's going to import it, they're going to provide some work. So first they cover the distance through sea or air cargo, and then they are taking the container out, doing all this work. And now we are just 21 miles from New York. So we parkour the distance of 8,000 miles. Now we are in America, in the seaport of New York, and this is 3 weeks before a customer finds it in the shop. That's the time I put over there. And because now, as an importer, I bought it from the guy who exported it. Now, as an importer, I bought it at $7. When I import it, if you're in New York, you can buy it from me at $7 a kilo, because I bought it at $2 a unit. But then I brought it all the way, which is the biggest distance and time. I spent 3 months of sea shipping container delivery. Now it's safely arrived in America. Therefore, I'm asking $7 a unit. So you come and the order quantity is 1,000, because now I can sell a little bit less. I have more margins as an importer. You guys are buying from these guys or you're selling to these guys. So then comes the wholesaler. The wholesaler bought from the importer. Now the wholesaler is just 1 mile closer to New York, Manhattan. He's in Brooklyn. He has a warehouse. So he buys from the importer. He buys 500. He can buy 5. And now, sorry, I need to move something is hiding my screen. Yes, let's do this. So now if you come and buy from the wholesaler, because the wholesaler brought it from the port, he paid the import duties. He made the paperwork to bring the goods into the jurisdiction so that they can be legally sold. He's going to ask a little bit more, $9 per unit, and 500 units is the minimum order quantity. I think you got the point. And the next is that now there is a distributor in Brooklyn who has stock. So you, as a shop, as a retail shop in the street, you don't want to go to the seaport. You just want to go to the guy in Brooklyn, the wholesaler, the distributor, and maybe 2 days before your client you're going to buy 100 units only. And then because of the bulk and break, you're buying a smaller quantity that is nearer to you in time and space. You're going to pay $13 per unit, and you buy 100 units. Now, finally, I have the stuff in my shop, and now I'm at the retail level. A consumer coming on 8th Avenue, New York, Manhattan. He's going to buy that little bear toy for his daughter or her daughter or her son or his son. He's going to pay, or she's going to pay $19 per unit for the same bear that I got for $1, that I could have got for $1 a unit in the countryside of Shenzhen when it was produced. So the little bear was produced at $1 a unit, and through all this parkour of added value and squeezing of time and space, it has now reached the retail value of $19 a unit. Do you see the multiplier? Do you see the 20x? Yeah? So I put 20x because from my experience, almost every commodity can fetch 20x. Do you hear me? Naufal. 20x. Whatever you have back there, be it coffee, potatoes, avocado, aluminium, plastic, whatever you have there, because you guys are at the source. If you follow what I'm trying to share with you, you will realize that it's worth 20 times more, 30 times more, sometimes 50 times more, 50. Sometimes I will show you 100 times more. Can you imagine if you can do 100x on a commodity? You're the king of, we say in French, you're the king of the petrol, you know? You find oil, you just find oil and gas beneath your house. That's what it means, but this is achievable. So let's move now. So this is the whole flow from production to retail. And then you guys please go and study what is Incoterms, what are the Incoterms, and how you can go up in your Incoterms when you're making a deal with your buyers. Let's look at something else. There is a trend I want to share with you as well. I don't know if you noticed, maybe in Kenya you have this a little bit more than in Rwanda, but in America and at least in Europe where I grew up in France, we have this more and more, is that what we call the retail is no more the retail. You know, when you go to the supermarket, Carrefour or Tesco or all these big guys, Walmart, you go as an individual or a family and you want to buy toilet paper. It's no more one toilet paper. It's a pack of 52. You see there, 54 even. So this is what I call the mega offers, the mega retail. It's not retail. It's like mini wholesale. Yeah. So you want to buy dentifrice, toothpaste. They will give you an offer. Buy 2 get free 1. Buy 3 get 4 because they want to bulk sell to you. They want to bulk sell to consumers, so that they can reduce. So what they're doing here is that they're doing an MOQ without selling it. They're saying my minimum order quantity is 3. I don't tell you not to scare you. I'm still getting the price of 1, but I'm actually liquidating 3 at a time. It's a very smart, deceptive, but very smart commercial move that they're doing to consumers. So they're, in a way, they're increasing their margin, reducing their costs because they're selling more units in one package. They're spending less in packaging, less in transport to sell more at the same, almost at the same value. Maybe they give you 5%, 10% discount, yeah? So you have to be aware of this trend because you could use it as well. Instead of selling 1 unit, you can say the family is going to use, in 1 month, they're going to use 10 units of my product. Let me sell them a 1 month supply. Let me do a package that covers 1 month of supply because then I spend the same packaging costs on 1 month of supply instead of them and me delivering 4 times per month. I deliver once a month, they get a good deal. Yeah? So this is called the mega pack or the mega retail approach. They do it with beer. This is the brand that broke the record. You see $850 pack of beer. So you buy beer for a whole year. And you almost like you're not a consumer. Like you can almost open a bar with this, yeah? At least you can open a bar for a week. The same for the juice, orange juice for the kids is by packs of 30. I don't know, guys, when you went to school, how many pencils did you have in your pencil box? Not that many. Like, I'm born in France, so in France I had a pencil box with like 10 pencils, different colors, you know, crayon, color, ball pen. You know, it was comfortable life in France. And then I studied in Morocco. I had 1 pencil. 1 pencil for the whole month or 2 months. I didn't need the pencil box. Now, when I buy pencils for my daughter, I go and I find these 172 pencils. Like she can draw for 3 years, I think, with this thing. So again, this is the bulk. When I go and buy Coca-Cola cans, I buy 24, almost my 1 month of consumption. So I think you got the point because here there is a double opportunity for you guys as well to understand. One, there is an opportunity for you to understand how you can repackage your retail. And so sometimes I call this kind of trade, I call it family offer because you target a family instead of an individual. Or sometimes it's called small B2B. I don't know if you heard about this, small B2B. You're selling to a small restaurant, to a small shop. They're not going to buy 1 ton. They want to buy 1 carton to go for the weekend. They want to buy 20 units because they don't have much cash flow. You know, that's a fantastic market for us because the big sellers, they will not be able to access these small business buyers, these small B2B. But maybe you can package an offer, 1 pallet, 1 carton of 20, a pack of 10, no problem. Buy this, sell it, come back, buy more, and then you can go in quantity. So you can open up again the spectrum of your buyers if you dive into the small B2B and if you dive into the family pack offer. Now there is also another thing that is very interesting, especially in developing countries. I'm sure you guys noticed it in Kenya, in Rwanda. I noticed it in Morocco. I saw it in Latin America, even in the US actually, is that people buy retail quantities and then they go in the street and they do what we call in Morocco detail. They detail. I don't know, it doesn't exist in English, but it's like a sub-level of retail. So for example, this lady here in Cameroon, she buys the Nescafe bottle that a normal family would buy. She goes out and she creates a business out of it by making coffee in the street. So she's retailing the retail quantity. That's what we call detail. This guy on the right is a guy from Latin America, but this is very much my uncle in Morocco. He had a shop like this that he carried. And I was helping him to retail packs of cigarettes. So he buys a cigarette pack of 20 and he resells the cigarette one by one and he makes a profit. You know, that's what I call detail level, which is sub-retail. So why is it interesting? It's because this is the level of distribution that drives the whole chain, even up to the production. Because if your product has one more life cycle and you're not aware of the life cycle of that product, you're the manufacturer of the product, you do not know that people are buying cigarettes one by one. That means that you will not be able to package your good to be consumed at the very unit level or sub-unit level. So you may be missing on 20%, 30% of the market potential. Because some people will break down whatever quantity you have in mind right now. You're selling in kilo, but maybe people want to buy 100 grams. You're selling, 10 units by 10 units, maybe people want to buy 1 unit. So I'm not saying you should do packaging at the very small individual, but maybe you can do a packaging that could be broken down into smaller packaging. That's what I mean. Or you could think of how your product gives one more level of opportunity for these people, because these people, they will make money out of your product. So you're giving them an opportunity. If you are aware of what they could do with your product at the very end of the cycle of that product. So, and the magic thing is that most of the time, our cousins, our brothers, our sisters back there, they would not have had the money to buy 1 ton or 1 container at the port. But they go, I don't think they will do this for long, but sometimes these big distribution chains, what you have to understand is that they are not commerce businesses, they are financial businesses. Carrefour, Tesco, these are not companies, these are banks, essentially. They have access to debt, they have access to finance. So you cannot model your business, you as a real business, on the model of a financial business. Because what is the difference between a financial business and a real life business? The financial business has access to unlimited capital. So they use money to make money. They don't use goods and services and sell them. They actually use their capital. So what they can do is that they can buy bulk, break, and they use their capital because they have access for it. So they can give 25% discount on Tuesday, like they do here at Carrefour in the UAE, in Arab countries. So what happened is our little guys, they come, they buy on Tuesday at 25% discount, they break it down, they add 25% value, now they created 50% margin. Do you see the blessing? That's what I was trying to call the bulk and break blessing. Everyone in the chain has an opportunity to make a little bit of money out of the same commodity that started wherever it started. So once you understand that there is a whole human chain, there is a whole group of people, maybe you don't realize, but your product, your service is going to empower or is going to make money to 20 people along the chain, maybe 30 people, maybe 50 people. Now you understand the whole added value and the human-to-human chain. Does it make a little bit of sense? Maybe if you can just nod yes or no, just so that I make sure I'm not going out of the way. Okay, cool. So you got the law number 2, bulk and break. Where is your offer in the bulk and break spectrum? So we talked about the distance and time, the journey. Now we're talking about the volume, the minimum order quantity, and how I package it, and how I deal with volumes. Now let's look at something else. The law number 3. So this one is a bit of a weird one, but it's actually the most natural. It's also a blessing. There is something called the arbitrage. It's a financial term. It's a term that you use in e-commerce with drop shipping. That sometimes you have a product that has a certain price in one area and it has a cheaper price in another area. So you buy from the area where it's cheap to sell in the area where it is more expensive until the market rebalances. That's called arbitrage. If you're not familiar with that, that's actually what you do every day when you're in business. You don't realize it, but you're doing arbitrage. You're buying a commodity from somewhere where it's cheaper, coffee, chocolate, whatever, and then you're bringing it somewhere where it's more expensive, and sometimes you add just a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of manufacturing, transformation, but you're doing arbitrage. You're making money from the difference of value between one position and another position of the same good or value. That's arbitrage. Now let me share with you that arbitrage is what nature does every day, every second, every millisecond, from the galaxies and the planet down to the atoms and the molecules. Let me show you what is the cellular commerce. There is business going on right now in your lungs, guys. You know, when you breathe the air, that's what I'm trying to express. You breathe the air. Forgive me, I'm gonna need water before the air. Okay. Look at this transaction that is happening every day in your lungs, guys. I breathe the air. My body is a marketplace. There are 7,000 types of bacteria. There is so many different cells. They all need to transact. Some they need oxygen. This one needs calories. This one needs sugar. That one needs salt. This one needs vitamins and all the nutrients. It's a marketplace. And blood is the highway where the trucks deliver the stuff. Yeah. So look at our body as a marketplace. This is what happened when we inhale air. There is a minimum order quantity. It's 100 milliliter of air. So a normal adult will, in one inhale, will take half a liter of air. But you can do, like if you're running or something, you can do small intakes. So look at nature. It's using MOQs as well. It's using minimum order quantities. So I inhale that air. The air, when it comes from my mouth, it has 78% nitrogen, which is useless for my body. What my body needs is the oxygen. So it has 20% of oxygen, and it has 0.04% of carbon dioxide. It's almost like there's no carbon dioxide, there's no CO2 in the air. There's very little concentration. And that is the rare commodity, that is the money, that is the gold. Like when we come at the level of air, gold is CO2. So right now, some people are trying to tax us because we create CO2. Actually, CO2 is the rare commodity in the air. It's the money. And that is what our body produces. When we move our muscles, we we use oxygen to burn, and then we produce CO2. So the human body produces, the money that the human body produces is actually carbon dioxide. We produce CO2, and when the air comes into my alveoli, the little cell at the very end of the lungs, that's where the natural arbitrage is happening. There is business happening over there, guys. There is a capillary where the blood that is full of dioxide carbon comes, and then there is a very thin membrane between the alveoli cell and the air, the bubble of air that came into its contact. And there, because air has more oxygen, it says, hey, I'm the air. I'm a business person. I have a lot of oxygen. I need carbon dioxide. And then it talks to the cell, that is the blood cell. It says, what do you have? Do you have carbon dioxide? Yes, I have the carbon dioxide. Hey, let's do business. I give you one oxygen, you give me one carbon dioxide molecule. You know what is happening right here? It's $1. It's one molecule for one molecule. The air give my cell 1 unit of oxygen molecule. My blood gives to that air 1 molecule of dioxide carbon because the air is lacking dioxide carbon. So what is happening here is that there is a difference of concentration. So even you think that things are not alive, they are exchanging, because just like us humans, if I have so much concentration of aluminium in Nairobi, Naufal, you will not be able to sell your aluminium at a very good price in Nairobi. Too much aluminium everywhere. Too much concentration. Now, if you go somewhere where there is almost no aluminium, you go to Kigali. It's very hard to find aluminium in Kigali. Now, suddenly, aluminium is more valuable. Maybe they have more iron. Then they give you 1 kilo of iron for 1 kilo of aluminium. This is what is happening right here in terms of molecular. It's a molecular exchange that is happening between the cells. So just for an exercise, let's call oxygen the potatoes. Potato 2. You see, I write here potato O2. Potato is oxygen. And let's call dioxide carbon the dollar, the money. So it means that I'm exchanging money for potatoes. I'm buying potatoes from the air. I want oxygen that I call potato. I give money, dollars, to the air. I give dollar carbon credits in dollars, and the air is giving me potato. So I'm giving $1 for 1 kilo, $1 per kilo of potato. Clear? That's the business that is going on here. Please remember this because I will use it as an example a bit later. But I hope you can see that in nature, there is this that I'm trying to call the natural arbitrage. Wherever there is a high concentration of something and a low concentration of something, the things exchange. When you have a current of water that is in the sea that has more salt and another current that has less salt, there is then a barrier and then they exchange between those barriers. So everywhere you go in air, in water, in human activity, in atomic, molecular, stellar level, there is some form of exchange. Let's now look at the potatoes. So this is something that is common to my people, and I think some of you guys also, especially people who have been nomadic, have origin from nomadic tribes or nomadic people. You know, nomadic tribes are often traders. They go a long distance from Ethiopia to Timbuktu in Mali with these salt caravans, gold caravans. They carry cotton and they trade along long distances with camels. So this is a caravan. And let's say this is a caravan that arrives in one city in the south of Morocco or somewhere in Mauritania that is bringing potatoes because there is no much potatoes in Mauritania. It's too hot, it doesn't grow, but there is a lot of potatoes in Côte d'Ivoire. So imagine there is a caravan that comes north from Côte d'Ivoire and goes north to Mauritania to deliver potatoes. They reach the gate of the city. The caravan arrives at 3 a.m. So if I'm smart, if I want to make money, I wake up at 3 a.m., I go to the caravan gate where they park. So today the caravan gate is the trucks that come from Dar es Salaam and reach Kigali. They reach the Kigali free trade zone. That's the caravan of today. The trucks, all the trucks, they arrive there. That's where the bulk is coming. So they unload the potatoes there. I'm there at 3 a.m. I'm gonna get the potato at $1 a kilo, yeah? That's what you see on the bottom left. I'm gonna get it at $1 a kilo from the guy who transported it all this way. But then that guy doesn't want to waste time. He says, no, Mohammed, you have to buy 100 kilo. So I buy 100 kilo at 3 a.m. at $1 a kilo. Then just at the entrance of the city, I already start to sell it. Now it's 7 a.m. I sell it, but I'm wholesaling it at $2 a kilo. I doubled my money. But then I sell it 10 kilo per 10 kilo. This is the MOQ of potatoes at 7 a.m. And then somebody buys from me, and then in the evening, the same day at 5 p.m. in the city center, he or she's going to sell it at $3 a kilo. The same potato that was at $1 a kilo on arrival. So this is again arbitrage. Why is the price increasing? Is because at 3 a.m. at the caravan gate, there was like 10 tons of potato when it arrived. There was 10 tons of potato, so much concentration. You can't fetch a high price. So if you're a buyer, you want to go buy from there. You want to go to buy from where the concentration is. If you are the business buyer. And then once it was unloaded, then the quantity starts to dissipate. So at 7 a.m. already the potatoes went into the market. Half of it has been bought. Now only half is available, so the price doubles. By the evening, another half has disappeared and has been sold. Therefore, again, the price increases. So this is what happens every day. Arbitrage happens because of time, space, and concentration. So if you understand these things, time, space, and concentration, you will always be able to make money or save money because you're going to travel back in time and travel back in space and go to higher concentration to buy your item. That's how we make money as humans. And often we do this every day, we don't even realize. I hope it makes a little bit of sense. Naufel, maybe your culture is similar to my culture. You could see the trade of the caravans, but I think many of you guys will get it. This happens for those of you who are in Kigali. This happens with avocado. When they come from the western province, they arrive in Nyabogogo market. So if you are there at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. in Nyabogogo market, you're going to get it very cheap. If you wait that they arrive in the central city market, it will be more expensive. If you wait and you go to buy them the same avocados later in the day from Sawa City, the shopping center, it's going to be crazy expensive. So it is what is happening every day in our modern life. Now I wanted to share with you very quickly what is the difference between the natural arbitrage that I just showed you and the other arbitrage that is, I think, misused or not relevant for us when we have real value. So there is a whole arbitrage in the debt economy, in the financial economy, they do arbitrage. So they also call it spatial arbitrage. So they will buy stocks from one company in one country, or they buy stocks from a company that has assets in Asia, and they know that that company is going to move their assets, whatever they produce, to America, so there's going to be an increase in price. So they do a spatial arbitrage. That's what they do. They invest in equity or they invest in shares, whatever, and they use their capital to do that arbitrage, and then they sell back the shares, they make money. Then they also do temporal arbitrage. They know that the price of fruits is cheaper during the harvest. So they're going to invest in the stock market in a company that does fruits just before the harvest or during the harvest, because there's so much fruit, they know that the valuation will be lower, for example. But they know that this company they invest in freezers or fridge. So they're going to keep the strawberries and sell them in winter. Hey, that's a temporal arbitrage, because I'm going to sell the same commodity in winter, it's going to fetch a higher price. Then there is the statistical arbitrage, which is something that you can only do when you're dealing with data, stock market, is that you crunch data and you notice that one stock, one equity or one bond or whatever, one currency is actually miscalculated by the market, and then you buy it because it's underrated. So they do that as well. And then there is another side of capitalistic arbitrage, which is they know that, so for example, Naufal or Charles, let's say there is an announcement that somebody is going to invest in your company. Yeah, you're going to raise fund. This equity fund is going to put $1 million in your company. It has been published. What they do? Boom, they buy some of your stocks. Because a merger or an acquisition was announced. So this is called a merger arbitrage. They know that you're going to merge, and usually after a merge, the value of a company is going to go a bit higher. So that's how they make money. So I just want to share with you how arbitrage is used in other contexts, so that you can understand in your mind how also it's going to be used for you or against you in some instances. But also arbitrage is a fantastic opportunity for us as business people to make money. So that's enough for the 3 laws, and I'm happy to take questions later on.